Today we're talking marketing because the typical chiropractor, most of them are failing abysmally with their digital marketing. And here's why. Almost everything that you as a chiropractor think you know about, let's call it chiropractic marketing, is absolutely, it's wrong. I mean, chiropractors are spending thousands of dollars, oftentimes a week, definitely every single month, on digital marketing. So whether it's Facebook, Google, Insta, AdWords, websites, SEO, and still struggling. So the real issue is this. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of how patients actually make decisions. And this is necessary to understand because there's a plethora of chiropractic marketing firms or agencies, which are really 2 or 3 people, sometimes one, working out of their den, if you will. And they all have the same model. They charge roughly $2,500 for a media buy per month and another $1,000 admin fee. So you're looking at $3,500 a month. And if you don't understand why people choose or why people make decisions and how they make decisions, it's not going to work. So if you don't know, I'm Dr. Chris Tomshack. I'm the founder of HealthSource Chiropractic. HealthSource Chiropractic has been the true developer of the chiropractic franchising industry. And I'm also the first person who has built a chiropractic clinic organization that surpassed $125 million in revenue. And as a result, HealthSource is obviously top 2 fastest growing chiropractic franchises that exist on the planet. So here's my thesis. The practices with the most sustainable new patient flow, they're not spending more. They understand the psychology of how people make healthcare decisions, which honestly, once you understand that, is not too terribly different from how a human being makes any decision that involves the transference of cash. So here's part 1. There's 3 costly misconceptions in chiropractic marketing. So misconception number 1, patients care about credentials and technology. Yeah, it's a misconception because they don't care about credentials and technology nor the technique you practice. They care that you're going to make them feel better. Here's misconception number 2, that one ad or one website visit is enough to convert somebody from a prospect into a new patient. Doesn't work that way. Oftentimes takes 11 exposures before someone's willing to make some sort of a purchase decision, whether it's online or picking up the phone. Misconception number 3 is that if you've got online dominance, that beats your local reputation. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Local reputation beats online dominance. So it's the vice versa. So let's go through some principles. Principle number 1, emotional safety over expertise. Emotional safety. What does that mean? Well, here's the problem. Most chiropractors market their techniques like Palmer grad. I'm a Palmer grad. Nobody cares, right? Or let's say you practice, you call it whatever you want, Palmer package or Gonstead or Activator. Nobody cares. They don't care about your certifications and they don't care about the technology that you have. Patients just don't care, at least initially. That's not what causes them to make a purchase decision or to convert into a new patient. Patients are often scared. They're overwhelmed and they're extraordinarily skeptical today. So here's the reality. People choose healthcare providers like you, just like they choose financial advisors or mechanics or barbers for that matter. It's based on trust and emotional connection. So here's the solution. You create emotional safety. And how do you do that? Well, you lead with empathy. Empathy, not credentials, not authority. You lead with empathy, not expertise. Acknowledge the person's pains, the pain that they have, their impact that it's having on their life, their work, their relationships, their sleep. Highlight patient stories that show life change. So if you've got a book of testimonials or if you've got them on your walls, like, a lot of people do, a lot of the successful offices do that. Well, those are the types of testimonials that you highlight, not technical metrics. Nobody cares about that. You want to make first interactions with new patients personal and caring, like no sliding glass window. Stepping around the front desk to greet that new patient, shake hands with them, eye to eye, knee to knee. Emails, calls, or consults should feel human, not transactional. They shouldn't be autoresponders. That's not how you build emotional connection. So what's the result? Well, when you do these steps, it builds trust so much faster, and it attracts patients who are, you know what, they're ready to commit. They're not just shoppers. They're not like the Groupon style patients that so many chiropractors complained about over the last 6-7 years. Here's principle number 2. And I call this the 3-touch trust sequence. Three touch trust. Say that 4 times and fast in a row. The 3-touch trust sequence. Here's the problem. Most chiropractors expect immediate conversion into a new patient after one visit. So a patient comes in, you do an exam, send them on their way. If you bring them back, if you do a 2-day type of process, you do a report of findings, you expect them to come in. It doesn't work that way. Patients rarely take action on the first exposure. Rarely. Here's the reality. Decisions happen over multiple trust-building moments. Multiple. So the solution? Build a 3-touch trust funnel. You create entry points for engagement between you and this prospective new patient, between your team and this prospective new patient. So short videos, those are great. Social posts, downloadable guides, participation in community events. These are massive for building trust in your community. You're nurturing with valuable follow-ups once you start getting these touch points out in the community as well. That's very helpful. So helpful tip, educational emails, relevant health information, not constant sales pitches. Click here for our new patient offer. Click here, click here. That's 1990s marketing. That doesn't work today. People are different. You offer low barrier engagement options. Low barrier, like free consultations where applicable, where you can. Live workshops are huge. And then, of course, social follows so that you can continue to connect with them remotely, if you will. So what's a result of this type of an approach? Well, it warms up cold leads, cold prospects. It converts hesitant prospects over time into converting into a new patient, into converting into a new patient that accepts your program of care. Here's principle number 3. Local authority reigns over digital precedence. Reigns over it. You've got to know this. Here's the problem. Chiropractors obsess over their rankings and the clicks, as if that mattered. When you're listening to somebody from a marketing firm, they're talking about, well, you're going to get all these clicks. You know what? Clicks don't pay the bills. Conversions pay the bills. So a typical chiropractor neglects real-world influence that drives referrals and credibility, instead focusing on the clicks. Here's the reality. Healthcare is a relationship business, absolutely a relationship business. And community authority beats online noise all day long. Solution? Build your local authority. The positioning that you can attain by participating in local events and building local authority. Be present in your community. Be present at health fairs. Be present in the Chamber of Commerce. Be present in BNI. Be present with local talks, with the school systems, with the teachers, and so forth. Really important that you embed yourself in the community. Offer educational programs. Topics like posture at work, injury prevention, healthy aging, mobility, stretching, things of that nature. In building relationships with other professionals can pay huge dividends. You just have to do it correctly. It's not that difficult to build relationships with medical doctors, physical therapists, trainers, OTs, and of course business owners, because they become, when done correctly, they become referral partners. And out of everything I just told you, what do you think is the number one referral, the referral access point? Out of all that, it's not the first part. You're probably jumping to MDs. No, it's actually other business owners. And this should be a huge part of your marketing funnel, so to speak, is getting to know these other business owners. There's a step-by-step process which to do this. So here's the bonus. When you use programs like Apex Longevity, which is a DMPO, which allows you to give legal discounts to patients who need them, that provides ongoing value, not just crisis care. It's great for wellness care as well. And you differentiate your practice with proactive wellness plans rather than just some sort of a come in for a maintenance visit. Again, maintenance, old school term. Go to wellness. People don't want to be maintained. They want wellness. Come up with a couple of simple plans. You don't need 12. You don't need 5. How about 2? That's really all you need. What can be the result? Very simple. More trust, more consistent, high quality referrals, which is what we want. And it's positioning, you get positioning as the go-to health authority within your community. You want to be that local health resource within your community. So why do most chiropractors fail? Very simple. They don't build emotional safety. They focus on credentials instead, forgetting the fact that trust is built over time, and one-time ads don't work, and local reputation dominates over the digital presence. If you found this interesting, please like it, or share the link with somebody, another chiropractor who could benefit from some of this information. It's really crucial that all of our chiropractors on this planet become stronger and stronger and more successful. Hope you gain value. Have an amazing, amazing day.